You ever been driving down the road and you just see it? A brand new, gleaming monster of a truck, one that you know costs more than a down payment on a house. And you just have to ask yourself, how on earth are people affording this? Well, let's dive into this modern financial mystery.
No, seriously, what's really going on here? We see them everywhere. Teachers, nurses, just regular folks driving these incredible vehicles with payments that seem to completely defy logic. But here's the secret. They aren't all secretly millionaires. Turns out, there's a whole system that's been designed to make these impossible payments seem totally possible.
And the numbers, they're just staggering. The average monthly payment for a new truck or SUV is now regularly over $900 a month. That is not a typo. For a lot of people, that's more than their mortgage or rent was just a few years ago.
So how is this happening? Look, it's not magic. It's what you might call financial engineering. The car industry has absolutely perfected a set of tricks that get you to focus on just one number, that monthly payment, while totally hiding the true and honestly crushing cost of the vehicle.
It pretty much all comes down to three key tactics. First, stretching out the loan for years and years. Second, luring you in with financing deals that aren't nearly as free as they sound. And third, trapping you in a cycle of debt with your trade-in. So, let's break down the biggest one of them all.
Do you remember when a 4-year car loan was considered long? Yeah, well, those days are long gone. To make a giant price tag feel smaller, lenders are now stretching these loans out over 72, 84, or even 96 months. That monthly payment might look manageable, but trust me, the long-term damage is just immense.
And check this out, because this is the real trap. Yeah, a longer loan term drops your monthly payment by a lot, right? But look at what you end up paying in total. We're talking thousands, in this case, $14,000 more in interest over the life of the loan. That's just money that vanishes into thin air, all for a lower number on your monthly bill.
And that leads right into the next trap. So you're a few years into your 8-year loan, and you want a new car. Problem is, you still owe more on your car than it's actually worth. That's called negative equity. But the dealer just happily says, no problem, and they just roll that old debt right into your new, even bigger loan. You're now paying for 2 cars at once, and that escape route just got a whole lot harder to find.
So if the math is so clearly bad, why do so many of us sign on that dotted line? Well, this part goes way beyond the numbers. It taps directly into our emotions and even our sense of identity.
This quote just absolutely nails it. You know that commercial of a truck climbing a mountain? They aren't selling you a way to get to work. They're selling you the fantasy. The idea that you're this rugged adventurer who climbs mountains, even if the closest you get to off-roading is parking on the grass at a family picnic.
The marketers have perfected this art of tying a vehicle to who we are, to our core identity. And suddenly that massive payment stops feeling like a liability and starts feeling like an investment in your self-image. It's a statement, right? It says you're successful, you're reliable, you have status, and who wouldn't pay a little extra for that feeling? Okay, so we've seen the tricks and we've talked about the psychology. Now, let's solve the mystery once and for all by calculating the real total cost of ownership. You know, the numbers the finance manager at the dealership conveniently forgets to show you.
When you start to look at the whole picture, the costs just keep piling up. You're not just paying the loan. Over 7 years, you're also paying for insurance, which is way higher on expensive vehicles. You are paying for fuel, which these big trucks just guzzle. And of course, you're paying for maintenance and repairs, which can get shockingly expensive.
So here's the crucial point. That $55,000 truck actually costs you over $130,000. It's unbelievable. And at the end of those 7 years, you own an asset that's maybe worth $15,000, if you're lucky. It is wealth destruction on an absolutely epic scale. And this right here is the big aha moment. What if, instead of making that $800 payment to destroy your wealth, you invested it instead? You wouldn't just avoid the financial burden, you would have actively built an asset worth over $70,000. The choice is literally between owning a depreciating piece of metal or owning a growing financial future.
Understanding this is the absolute key to breaking the cycle. But you know, there's one more really powerful psychological force at play that keeps people trapped, even when they know the numbers just don't add up. I love this term, automotive Stockholm syndrome. People get so emotionally attached to their vehicle, their financial captor, that giving it up feels like admitting failure. So any suggestion to maybe drive a cheaper car isn't heard as sound financial advice. No, it's heard as an attack on their identity and all their hard work. And so here it is. Here's the real answer to our mystery. People aren't truly affording these payments with their income. What they're doing is they are sacrificing their financial lives to service the payment. They're skipping vacations, they're eating ramen, they're taking on second jobs, they're raiding their retirement funds, all to keep that shiny, depreciating asset sitting in the driveway.
And that just leaves us with one final crucial question to ask ourselves. Look, we all need transportation, but it's really worth stopping to think. Is your car serving your life, or have you structured your life to serve your car? The answer to that one question could change your entire financial future.